Okay, hi and welcome everyone. This is Lavender Sky Panther or Varleigh at Lavender Sky Panther with you live for once. I am celebrating 5 years of having launched this channel and hope you can join me. If not, I will talk about some topics that I clicked into, kind of felt into what to cover today. And hopefully everyone can hear me, see me, and there are no glitches. And regardless, the show's going to go on. And I'd like to start in the manner, let me just make sure everything looks in order. Give me a moment. I think we're good. Okay. Um, so I want to start in the manner that I did in my first shows. There are 5 shows that I really were the reason why I even started a channel. And there are plenty of other episodes where I cover in detail why I started this, how it all happened. And I'll put links in the description below after this airs and give more details where you can go look at that if you are new. So again, wholehearted thanks for being here and welcome whether you're new or returning to this channel. And so in the spirit of my original 5 shows, a little bit more than that, I want to start with a welcome and warm greetings, kind of in languages from around the world, just for fun. And whether they're pronounced absolutely perfect or not, just want to give it a shot. So I just want to say good day, osio, how, buongiorno, guten tag, kia ora, jambo, buenos dias, bonjour, ni hao, dzień dobry, konnichiwa, dobrohanya, annyeonghaseyo, boa tarde, dobry den, aloha winala, and kalimera. And of course, there are so many other languages to cover. I just picked a few to try to represent around the world. So if you speak even yet another language, feel free to put it in the little chat. Yeah, I should say, welcome to Lake Superior Skywatcher and Nature Lover. Thanks for being here. And, you've been there from the beginning or near beginning, and I really appreciate you. I see you and I appreciate you. And I love your channel. So anybody not familiar, go take a look. I'll put that channel in the comments below again after this is all over with. I'm probably going to do my best just to not forget to look at chat and talk about things, as this is my very first live ever in a way that hasn't been, pre-recorded and then aired. So, unless any other topics pop up, I'll start off with something, and then we'll see if anybody else wants to join in the chat or mention any topics to cover. Here ready to cover probably, anything and everything. If you know my channel at all or just kind of sporadically look into the content, I started off with sky watching and nature observations. And then I gradually moved into, I toyed around with the shorts feature. I've been posting things on the community page. And then the topics kind of opened up into intuitive readings and mostly for the collective. And then just very intuitive, and I'll just, bring up whatever kind of wants to come up, in the moment, and spontaneous. I want to say spontan, or spontan in German. All right, so let's do this. Actually, I should back up a step for anyone who doesn't know me. This is not my real hair. So I was very much feeling for celebration. I was feeling galactic vibes, even a little bit of mermaid hair, galactic hair vibes. And it's also kind of going to be a talking topic. So how people see you in the world, they may really identify you strongly with your hair. So for me, most of my life, I've had people on the street in a totally different city walking by on a sidewalk and just see me from behind and say, is that you? Varleigh, because they totally connect me with my hair. So just for fun too, I wanted to just explore a different look, and for fun. Greetings, Victoria Santiago. Welcome. Thank you for being here. So I'm going to do a little reveal here. I'm going to take this off, but just for fun, in the spirit of celebrating this channel, I felt like doing this. And these little fairy lights represent the stars and very galactic vibes, as you see behind me with the nod to Star Wars backdrop. So don't be alarmed. I'm going to remove my little getup and go to the real me. Although I felt like a very authentic and real me in the wig and that coloring. So anyway, I don't have hair and makeup here, so I'm going to do it myself. Here we go. Also in the galactic theme. I had a totally different thing in mind to come and celebrate today. And actually the camera is mirrored, so forgive me if I'm trying to figure this out. But then, I had different color scheme and everything, what I wanted to wear. And then I just, again, felt in intuitively, what should I do, for celebrating this? And then I got a little hint of, oh, put on your Space Invader shirt. So I have this Space Invader shirt too, to keep with the theme. Anybody around long enough, back in the 80s, this was one of those, key moments in humanity, really, where we had the first video games coming in the form of these very bitmappy things. So I think it was Pong was the very first video game, and then shortly after came Space Invaders by Atari. Interesting meanings if you look up the etymology or the root, meaning of the word Atari, to see what's going on. All right, so I'm going to just start off with the topics, like I said, and then if anybody wants to join in and chat, feel free. And again, pardon me if it takes me a while to get to chat, trying to focus and not lose too much train of thought and keep momentum going here. So thank you for being here during my maiden voyage here on live. What was coming up strongly for me, and actually I got a little affirmation right before I got on here by another YouTube channel talking all about rainbows. That's going to be a key topic for today. Mostly starting with a question that I have for all of you. And again, this is a live, but it doesn't matter if, hold on, I'm just trying to see chat better here. Give me a moment. If I can get to it. It's cutting off part of the chat. Let's see. And give me one moment. I'm trying to slide this screen over or something. Give me a minute. And I don't want to disconnect. If I do, I'll come back right on. For whatever reason, this is not letting me see. Oh, here we go. I got it now. Got it now. And thank you, Victoria, for the comment about the mermaid hair. Okay. So I want to start off with a question. And this doesn't matter if you're jumping in now on the live or you watch this broadcast much later. It's kind of a timeless question. Think about when you were a child and how you would draw a rainbow. I'm assuming most of us, when we're children, doesn't matter how old you are, what decade or vintage or how seasoned you are in this world, typically children, if you observe them, will draw rainbows or a sun with puffy white clouds. So first question is just, if you need to close your eyes or not, think about it, close your eyes. How did you draw the rainbow? And the reason why I'm asking is, there's a certain order. We've got the 7 colors. They give it the acronym ROY, G, BIV. So you remember red, orange, yellow, green, violet, indigo, BIV, blue, indigo, violet. And but the interesting thing is, only recently in the past few years, I started really observing how are children drawing it. It got to my attention when I'm walking down the street in a suburban neighborhood in Miami, and I saw a child had drawn rainbows on the sidewalk and put nice little messages so that the, excuse me, passersby and people walking their dogs would see this beautiful message and they would light up. It was really beautiful. And it just kind of, something kind of clicked for me, what I mean by how do you draw it? Sorry, I'm mirrored. I'm trying to do this. When you start off with the inner arc, okay, I'm going to do this way. Okay, everything's reversed. When you start off with that inner arc or bow, and then you do the next, I'm going to mess this up, concentric, gosh, this is difficult, concentric ones, okay, moving upward. Is that the order that you drew them in? Starting with that first kind of horseshoe arc and then moving up? Or did you start top down? Did you use the quote unquote 7 colors that are usually represented as the rainbow, or did you off-road it and use 5 or use, totally different colors? If you did use the quote unquote traditional 7, did you start with, well, let me stop. So what color did you start with from the inner ring or arc going up? So that's my big question. Think about it for 1 second. What color would you just grab to start that inner arc? Okay. So what I want to say is, I always started with red at the bottom and went up to purple. Now, a lot of people, I would say everything that I'm seeing around, the majority seem to start with purple and then go up to red because that's what is seen in the sky right now. So if you look at a rainbow, it starts from the violet spectrum and then the outer band goes out to the red. So why is it that some of us little kids instinctively start with red and go out to violet? There's something to this. I don't have the all-inclusive, answer, but I just want to put it out there for people to ponder because it's a fascinating topic. For me, and this is just my opinion perspective, and there are many that are going to be true. There's a particle of truth in every single person's opinion, thought, and whatever, because it's true because we're thinking it or we're believing it. And that makes it so. That makes it true, makes it one facet of reality and experiences. So for me, I believe that it's just kind of being close to really maybe remembering a little more when we were dropped off, quote unquote, on this planet, you know, in the form of that little God spark that comes into the body the moment we become alive and our soul is integrated with our physical form. And maybe we have a little residual memory of maybe that's the way the true rainbows are, because when we look out into our outer world, what we're coming into more and more awareness of is people are having a great awakening or waking up, as they say. People are having more and more awareness that we're kind of like a dream within the dream, you know, kind of thing. Some call this a simulation. You know, the popular movie, The Matrix, brought that concept about. Like, are we, you know, these like star beings, you know, having an experience in kind of a video game, like a simulation. And that concept kind of really got trippy for me. I had a hard time putting my mind around that, but more and more, it does seem that the only thing here that is really authentic and real is love, which is the essence of who we all are. And the rest is kind of just a show, which can be manipulated through thought, through imagination, through dream time, through any number of things. But even when we're in a dreamlike state, it's like, wait, was that real? I don't know. And it's when we feel into our heart where the truth is. The truth is in our heart and out in nature. And that can't be, you know, mistaken. What can be is the mind. The mind can get fooled, brainwashed, manipulated. No, you know, offense to the brain. We need everything, the mind, body, spirit complex. It's, you know, everything integrated, but it can be tricked. And, you know, I like that this is my backdrop. I always refer to this often because it is so true for me, at least. In the movie Star Wars from 1977, the one that debuted out. And if you don't know it, I'm going to say some stuff so you can put on mute if you don't want any spoiler alert. But I recommend you watch it because there are a lot of hint drops and truth drops in there, precisely designed for the star seeds, the kids coming into the planet, which, you know, it's by design. If this isn't a familiar concept to you, for most of you, I'm sure it is. But, you know, the perfect way to, if there's a spiritual war, so to speak, between quote unquote good or quote unquote evil, is in that, you know, if we're here on this earth, it's said there could be some type of frequency fence or frequency wave over the planet so that we're kind of like stuck here, not in a bad way. It's like an experimental planet to see what goes on. So that means no more like quote unquote evil entities can come in from the outside in and also can't get out type of thing. So just say we're all in here. And I put good and bad in quotes because it's a matter of perspective. I believe that God created all things. So that means good, evil, and everything in between. And it's so that we have the contrast to play off of. How can we know how to be loving, compassionate beings if we don't have the opposite to quote unquote play off of? So how do I know I can be the best nurse or healer, energetic healer, energy healer, or doctor, or whatever? I just want to say healer these days. I don't like these other titles now. Just a healer. How do I know I can be the best healer if no one is sick or ill to heal? How do I know the miracle that is letting the divine come through you to heal through your hands or through your intention of somebody energetically? If how do I know how that is to revive somebody from or just before they might pass or transition off this planet? If I don't have the experience of that divine power to come through, and I don't have the person who might be quote unquote dying or transitioning to kind of quote unquote practice on, I wouldn't know what that feels like. So we do need, you know, to our physical eyes, it seems kind of horrific if somebody is ailing, especially someone we care about, or even if we don't know them, we want to help. We have loving hearts. I know I'm going to wander all over the place, but I will bring things back into conclusion or, you know, kind of circle back, but, and also just holler at me in the chat if you like, if I'm, you know, didn't come back to a certain point and you want to hear more. But anyway, the point is that we need to look with our physical eyes sometimes out here in our quote unquote reality at stuff that looks maybe pretty dark or pretty adverse, or why is this happening? But it really is to round out and be there so that we can experience all manners of things in this world, all facets, all nuances of emotion. So I've referred to this before in probably other talks elsewhere, but sorry, let me go back. I think I didn't finish talking about the good and evil part. But anyway, the thing is that we need to see these things that seem really adverse in our face, in our reality, so that we can experiencing these nuances and learn and share our knowledge with others and receive knowledge. So anytime that we come together, like now, I'm talking, yeah, okay, because it's my channel and I decided to do this live. But you're there in the chat too. You all have your lives. And anytime that we meet, whether in person or something like this, even just energetically, we are exchanging to each other. So it's not someone's talking at you or teaching at you. I'm getting stuff off of you right now, whether I see stuff pop up in the chat or not. So I'll feel energy or I'll see your comments. Equally grateful. Doesn't matter what form is coming in. But anyway, the point is, when we're going back to another point, when we're looking at things with our physical eyes out there in reality, quote unquote reality, whether you believe it's a simulation or not, it is like, getting back to what I was trying to say, with the Star Wars movie from 1977. The character Obi-Wan Kenobi is trying to teach his Padawan, or his learner, Luke Skywatcher, some things, about the greater world or galaxy. In this case, we know it's kind of metaphor for the spiritual walk. And he says to him, he gives the Luke character a blinder, like a blast shield on his helmet, puts it on him, and has this lightsaber, and he is supposed to do a training exercise with what they call a remote. It's a little orb that floats around, and it shoots little laser hits, probably like little sparks off a sparkler that kind of burn a little bit but don't do much damage. And he gives him the helmet, tells him to put on this blast shield, kind of like a welding shield, but except you can't see through it at all. And he's just supposed to go by intuition and catch, wherever those little blasts are coming off of from this remote. And Luke says, well, with the blast shield down, I can't see a thing. How am I supposed to fight it, right? And so Obi-Wan Kenobi says, your eyes can deceive you. Don't trust them. So that, I hang on to that quote because it is what's happening now. Our physical eyes can deceive us. They're trained to do a certain job, and they do it great. And, God bless it, the function of it. But the brain and eye connection tend to form a picture, right? And it can be from the outside world easily influenced or skewed or propped up or, made better. But it's very guidable, let's just say, in a certain way, versus what the image is that you see from the heart. So if you close your eyes and think of a loved one right now, whether current or eons ago, or you're wishing for one in the future, you close your eyes a moment, put your hands on your heart. Some people think it's like over to the left. That's fine if that works for you. That's part of programming this world. You really have a feel the heart space is much bigger. And for me, it resides right here. Close your eyes and you just think of a person whom you love so much, or did in the past, or still do, and they're transitioned on the other, quote unquote, other side. It's really just another frequency. But close your eyes, think of that loved one, and really think about how much you love them. And you will feel that love feeling welling up. Well, that's seeing with the heart space, and that's seeing with the true eyes of love versus the physical ones. And then we have the third eye. So there's a lot of different kind of eyes. Anyway, I just want to bring that up because now more than ever, and sorry, I keep hitting the table, which is making the laptop pop up and down. Now more than ever, what are we dealing with? Look at the whole social media world, also mainstream, anything that presents you visual graphics, in the entertainment world, movies. Now, anything can be edited, altered. We're way past Photoshop. You can have a live action video moving, and right now somebody could pop in, sorry, mirror world here, and just take away my little prop, put a lasso around it, and poof, it's gone. But I'm real time, it's still there. Who took it away? By the same token, anybody could drop something in and, have like a flying green monkey going over my head. And I'm like, what the heck, man? It's not happening here. So we're very much now getting into a dream world within a dream world, now within a dream world. When we bring in the now tech, component of, I really don't like the term AI. There's a lot of terms. It's funny. You're going to hear a lot of people in the spiritual path these days. We're going to start saying, I don't like that word, or I want to make up a word. And we're in a whole new territory. And it's really beautiful because it's bringing the highest level of expression. It's calling us to be completely authentic with the real us of who we are in here, not, oh, the outside told me, oh, I'm of a certain age, I better dress this way, or, oh, I'm of a certain age, don't talk back, So, things are completely free now if we choose to live that way. So, step one, sure most of you here. Oh, and greetings, SugarSeas. Great to see you. Great channel to check out as well. Go check out SugarSeas. And again, I'm going to put links of people who pop up in the chat below. And I've also shared many a video from SugarSeas. You have a beautiful way of seeing, speaking of seeing. And big greetings, big hug to you. All right. So that is like actually way more than I was going to say because I had more to say about the rainbow topic. So not only did I ask which way would you draw a rainbow? And like I said, I always started with red and then up to purple, but you look out in the world around us and it's inverted. So there's no mistake there either. I think from the heart, maybe wherever we quote unquote came from, and all of us, I would say most of us have a galactic origin or tie of some kind, or you have many different races as your galactic family or origins. So, hey, wherever your little spark traveled into the body from whatever star system or wherever that came from, maybe it came just from source itself, beautiful, glowing, warm light, or you dropped in from a star, whatever, you have some other maybe memory of how that color order is when you're coming from out beyond, to here. Because here we're viewing things again through a very specific lens. And if you even look at pure white light refracting, through a prism, it then shoots out the light in a certain order. Well, maybe what we're looking out here, it's bouncing around, refracting off of something, but it's not the quote unquote order that we might know in the heart. So that's just my thoughts on that. Like I opened up with, that's just my opinion. And I just want to read Leg Superior Skywatcher and Nature Lover says, our home is a created construct where all forms of life is allowed and transforms. And that's beautiful, right? And then we have on top of that the free will to choose what we wish, and for right now, the transformation part, and this kind of gets into some interesting territory about the whole notion of manifesting. That's another word I'm not fond of, but the thing is that, yeah, we can do things and transform within this reality. It's kind of like we do the best we can with what we have to work with and our level of awareness. So we have a lot of gifts that they call quote unquote junk DNA, which no, it's not junk DNA. There's nothing junk about human being, beautiful creation. Those are the areas of the DNA that are kind of just closed off for momentarily that can be activated at any time. And we're not, some of us are coming into those abilities and gifts. Like you might go to bed one day and you wake up and you're like, I've used this example before too, because it happened to me a few years ago. Woke up, didn't really think about it, but then all of a sudden I had like extra super hearing, kind of like the Superman movie of the 1977, where it's like you're outside and you hear somebody calling for help and they're like miles away. Well, I heard somebody like a mile away, and I asked somebody else on the street that I was going by, like, don't you hear that person in distress? And they're like, no. And they had normal hearing. So I'm like, whoa, when did that kick in? Other people you might be going through right now, what's called ascension symptoms, where we feel right now our bodies are going from a carbon-based life form, supposedly now with shifting energies and the revelations period that we're in, where collective consciousness is ascending, from tolerating, honestly, a less than world where there is death and murders and violent actions present. Humanity, human beings, the God-loving spark that comes in, that's not what we're about. We don't want that. And it's showing. And so the collective consciousness is waking up. It's realizing we don't have to choose that, less than way anymore. We've had a lot of lessons through that. And everyone's saying, okay, we have free will choice, no more. And so through that, we are, ascending. So just tying with some of our gifts that might start activating, I wanted to bring into vision. So as we are, quote unquote, ascending from a 3D carbon-based kind of, material body, as a part of the ascension, it is said that we are moving up toward more of a light body, okay? With a light body, think of a little light being, okay? You don't need to consume food or liquids or whatever else. So a lot of people are having bodily discomforts, because we are going through, back to like Superior Skywatcher and Nature Lovers comment, a transformation, from going from the 3D physical materiality to more of a light. Oh, hi, and welcome, Uncle Skinn, and welcome. Thanks for being here. Good to see you all. So as we do that, our vision's going to start to change. So what happens normally? We get to a certain age. I've made no, secrets about how old I am. I'm in my 50s. So we start to question, oh, traditional society and life here tells us, oh, when you hit your 50s or 40s or whatever, oh, break out the reading glasses. Oh, you're going to need glasses and this and that. So some of these ascension symptoms involve our vision, our physical 3D vision changing. We're going to start to see more and more and more. Going back to my rainbow topic at the very beginning, that means we're starting to see doubled rainbows, one over the other, routinely. It's not like a one-off, oh, I saw one, oh, that's different, right? That might be a function of our seeing deeper now, because we're moving from the 3D carbon footprint to a crystalline light body, and more like crystal oriented too. And so anyway, I find it fascinating. Part of the doubled rainbow effect could also be artificial tech. That's a whole nother story. And I've got over 700 videos on my channel now, approaching 720. And the first 200 are just focused everything on the skies. And then lately I put them more in the shorts, kind of format or community page, just because it's quicker and easier, because the first 200 videos were really time intensive, although I enjoyed that format too. Hope you did too. Okay, so again, I want to make another little note about the rainbows. Okay, so talking about rainbows, we could go on forever, but I want to move that on into now the rainbow prophecy, or the rainbow prophecy, or rainbow warrior prophecy from the Hopi. Now, I invite you to go look online and just dig around and find the original quote. It's quite lengthy, but I am going to just straight up read 2 quotes from it that I think are really important. And then we'll just see where the rest of this talk goes. And again, if you guys have any topics you want to throw out, feel free in the chat. If not, no worries. I'm going to be looking down at my phone because I'm going to just read straight up the 2 quotes that I wanted to include. And let's see which one I want to start with. Okay. This ties into also this rainbow prophecy. There's another quote along with it that relates. I think it came from an elders conference in the 70s or 80s, Hopi elders, that said, the famous quote, we are the ones we're waiting for. So whatever we see, with our real, physical eyes that seems amiss on this planet, why are we looking to other things to save us? We have the faculty of imagination that creates everything, that starts to, back to Lake Superior Skywatcher Nature Lovers comment, that starts to transform our reality, because we have the power of our creativity and imagination to create worlds. That's the God power within us, the God spark. So we're the ones that can make that change. We're the ones that we see something not right. Maybe I have that little it's not right button. If I see something not right on my reality, I'm going to stand up and say something. And if I don't even know what to say, we come equipped as we are. This world will teach you, oh, you need to go study for 5 more years. Oh, you don't have this degree. Oh, keep going, keep going. No, show up anywhere, wherever you are right now. You are complete. You just leave yourself open for a divine, a beautiful, loving, call it whatever you want, greater power, than yourself. And you just show up and say, hey, you know what? I don't quite know what to do in this situation. Just say, hey, speak through me, show me what to do. And then some beautiful things will just come out. So if you're being challenged, or somebody in the 3D is telling you can't do something, but you want to, and it's not harming somebody else, challenge it. Ask questions. No more being this docile little human beings going, ooh, I better not speak. I better not color outside of the lines. Why not? You have infinite expression. Do it. Ask question. And if you're not sure, just show up. If you feel like a little lost puppy, and just say, hey, can you help me out? Bigger team. There's the divine. There's your guardian angelics. A lot of people go to archangels. That's not I'm not resonant. I have nothing against it. But hey, it's just whatever each of us is resonant with. And, you pray to God, to Jesus, Buddha, Allah, Divine Mother, Mary, whatever, just knowing there's a team, your ancestors, anybody that's passed, anything, souls of your star family you don't even know consciously here, but you sure as heck know them when you're in their presence. There's a whole team of unseen forces backing us, okay? There for us. And even without them, if you're like, oh, I don't feel it, I feel totally alone. Okay, well, you are enough. Show up in that room. You come fully equipped. It's like what, like in the 70s and 80s, I think some of these car dealers, started the whole thing of the car comes fully loaded. We're fully loaded. We have all the gifts and tools within us. And at any moment, just with our awareness that they're there, we can activate them or ask God to come through and activate us, whether we're moving about our business in a day or in dream state. A lot of us can connect better in dream state because we don't have that monkey mind or conscious squirrel mind or whatever interfering. So try to just maybe take a nice herbal tea, go relax. And before you go to bed, when you fluff your pillow, say, hey team, even if you don't know who it is, just say, hey guys. You don't have to know, like a lot of people do know their galactic family. Oh, I'm Arcturian, I'm Pleiadian, I'm, Andromedan, I'm whatever, Alpha Centauri. There's so many different races out there. Why not? Oh my gosh, so many that we can't even name. As many of their stars, as many as there are stars, which are really uncountable. And if you know that there's a divine source or loving being of some type, force of some type, creating, ever expanding, will we ever get to the bottom or to the end of a count of anything? No. The answer is no. So anyway, I kind of went around a long loop there. So let me get into just reading the quotes. I'll rein my own self back in. Great energy there, guys, in the chat. Love you all. Let me read just 2 excerpts from the Rainbow Prophecy, and then we'll keep moving on. So here it goes. Let me get this screen. Okay, so we are the ones they spoke of long ago. They say to be alive, to come into creation, and to live upon the earth at this time is a great honor. In the cycle of time, from the beginning to the end, this time we are in now will change the purification of all things. They say this is the hardest time to be alive, but it is also the greatest honor to be alive, to live and see this. Yes, these are remarkable times. I don't know about any of you, but I'm a parent, and I never in a million years would have imagined that the life of my child would have been different than mine in terms of school. So I did go to public school, a good one. I felt it was good at that time, although I never wanted to be there. I think I know I'm not alone on this, but I remember a very crystal clear moment where I was, there was a fire drill, okay, in 3rd grade. And they had us ushered out, and there was a chain link fence around the perimeter. And they even had us go outside of that perimeter and line up, like ducks in a row on a sidewalk, a concrete sidewalk. And I remember standing there. And of course, I was a very contemplative kid. I would also speak out if I saw something was wrong. But I remember, looking through that fence back over at the building going, why are we like on the outside of the fence? Like, that's a prison. And I'm like free now outside the fence. And then I remember taking my little hand and going, okay, I'm in 3rd grade. So in the US anyway, that's where I'm based. You would go through primary school, then secondary school, and then, presumably college if you want to go into university. So I was literally counting, oh my gosh, I have 4th to get through, 5th to get through, 6th, 7th, 8th, and so on through this like system. And I'm like, how am I going to make it? I remember thinking this clearly at 3rd grade, right? I didn't care about a fire. I knew it was just some drill, and it was really unnecessary. There's a fire, you're going to get out of the building. But anyway, that's what I was thinking. And so I know some people in the spiritual communities now are calling it a prison planet and all of this. I don't believe so. I believe strongly that the free will that we had as a soul, before we even got here, it's in us. That's the true us. So again, what we're seeing with our physical eyes may seem like a prison planet. The soul knows, no, man, we signed up. People may disagree. Oh, I didn't volunteer. I think on the soul level we did. Again, we had a memory wipe. What do we know? Until we start remembering now with the Great Awakening. And so for me, it's like, okay, we're here. It's not a prison sentence. It's an experience sentence. And it's just like, okay, we're experiencing things. You know, when you go back to wherever you want to go, I believe we have a choice when we transition from here, that you can go back to the source that all it is and just float and bask in that beautiful warm glow of the light, or you can go off to another planet and experience something else. So, you know, if you have the awareness that you are an eternal being, you never truly die. This is just a little suit we discard as we transition off to the next thing, next adventure. It's like, okay, I'm tired of living in Miami now. Let me go live in New Zealand. You know, another adventure awaits. And that's all this is. And then, you know, once you realize and go through enough history on this planet, again, I don't know the ages of everyone out there. I'm talking from somebody from a perspective of being 50 Earth years. The more that goes behind me of experiences, I realize, wow, what I thought was horrific at the time, you know what? That was really a golden moment. Not that I necessarily want to go back to it, but wow, there was something in that time that, you know, and I can appreciate what happened. You know, I do value those experiences, even though it might have felt heart-wrenching at the time. It makes things real, back to what's reality, what's not, what's a construct, what's AI, what's simulation. Do we not realize what's real when we're either feeling that true emotion of love or pain? There's nothing like it to like instantly get you into your body to feel something, right? And apparently in these other realms, when we transition, we don't have like those pain sensory cells. Things, the experience is very different. So we do come here to feel it, right? Okay, anyway, let me get to now the second quote that I just, you know, jumped to my attention. And here we go, from the Hopi prophecy, rainbow prophecy. Okay, there will come a day when people of all races, colors, and creeds will put aside their differences. They will come together in love, joining hands in unification to heal the earth and all her children. They will move over the earth like a great whirling rainbow, bringing peace, understanding, and healing everywhere they go. Many creatures thought to be extinct or mythical will resurface at this time. The great trees that perish will return almost overnight. All living things will flourish, drawing sustenance from the breast of our mother, the earth. How wonderful is that? That time is happening now. And there are already people who can, quote unquote, see deeper, you know, just kind of intuitively or naturally, who can see into other dimensions. I've known people, when I had my first awakening moment was back in 2010, where I hit the floor, literally crying. My whole world dissolved around me, like lost the job, the house, the marriage, everything, like all at once. That's the moment that really breaks you, you know, brings you to your knees and breaks you, so you break open and see the world for what it really is and for what it really isn't. So back in that moment, I started to see things in other dimensions, or, you know, parallel realities, something, because at that point you are like a blank slate, ready to receive anything. You're in that moment where you're like, please, something greater than myself, help me. I am at rock bottom and I don't even understand why, right? And it was in those moments where I started to see things I didn't want to see. But I'm like, oh, heck, this stuff's real. And then I came into with my spiritual journey, went to my first spiritual guide that was recommended by a friend. And I'm like, I don't know what I'm getting into. For anybody that hasn't seen it, watch the movie Ghost from 1990, around there, 89, 90, with Patrick Swayze and Demi Moore, because that's kind of the experience I had with this first spiritual guide I went to, in the aspect that I'll have to talk to people if you've seen the movie. In the movie, well, I'll go back a little. There's this woman, and she's kind of, she's born of a mom who was a psychic or a medium, and she could connect with people who have passed. Okay, I'm not going to call them dead people because they're very much alive. They just stepped from one frequency into another that we here can't see. Anyway, she was claiming she could hear them and see them and was doing little seances and all that, but she was a fraud at that point because she wasn't hearing, she wasn't connecting. Anyway, along the story, she gets activated where now she suddenly can hear, you know, somebody from the other side. Well, anyway, at a certain point in the movie, there is a quote unquote ghost that jumps into her body and starts speaking through her to her client. Okay. Well, this is me not knowing that's real and can happen. Spoiler alert, yes, it can in real life. I go to this spiritual guide at the beginning of my journey, And that happens with him. So he didn't even know my first name. Okay. I just got referred to, and we had not a language barrier. I could speak his language, but he couldn't speak mine. So it's like he had no way to even know who I was other than doing his intuitive work and connecting in with what he connected into. So anyway, I had a coworker, God love her. She was a good friend, and she passed. And she had passed recently from the time that I went to the sky. But I wasn't thinking about her communicating for me, even as a little kid. For me, anybody who passed, I know they're good. I don't need, oh, is so and so okay? Of course, they're in the most beautiful place there is if they've moved on and they're in whatever realms they want to be and back with source. So if anything, they're looking, going, oh, I hope they'll get over my leaving okay, right? But anyway, so I wasn't thinking about my friend. I knew she was okay. But anyway, she became an earthbound spirit. So what happened was she didn't go to the loving light, so to speak. She stayed in between worlds, and I didn't realize it. So my point of bringing this up is this guy who I went to could see deeper, could see my guardian angel standing next to me, and he could describe my friend who had passed to the T. He could see her in the room. Now, not only that happened, she jumped in him and then was starting to speak through him. And he's like, what is this energy? It's so strong. And he told me her name came out. He described her perfectly. And again, even the friend who recommended me to go there didn't know this detail. So I'm like, oh my goodness, we are living a scene out of the movie Ghost. So that might just be a fun thing. If you haven't seen it, or if you have, you want to revisit it, maybe that's something you do, this weekend or coming up. Anyhow, seeing, so people can see deeper. Yes, they can see somebody standing right next to you or whatever. So that's just a little fun thing. I don't know why we jumped there from my quote, but let me go back to it. There's just something that popped up as I read that. But I do love this. We are in the time of people are discovering their healing gifts. Like I talked about that, quote unquote, total misnomer junk DNA is really our blessed, amazing gifts that are going to activate and come online more and more now. You may suddenly find yourself called to heal somebody and you didn't know you had it in you. Yes, you do. We all do. Anyway, these are fun and great times. So out of this quote too jumps out to me, the whirling rainbow. It's bringing peace and understanding and healing everywhere we go. Yeah, I mean, I've been through enough. I don't know about you, but I live, still now. I've lived around the world in different places, but I'm back in Miami, kind of my roots. I don't know how long I'll stay. Actually, that's another thing. A lot of people going through spiritual experiences are discovering we're going to be moving out from maybe places we've known for 50 years or whatever. You're just suddenly called to go move somewhere else, and you're like, what's going on? But everything in your life starts aligning to move you along that way, or visit somewhere you never thought you would ever visit. So be open to those experiences. But anyway, I just wanted to say, so at the time, for now, I'm in Miami. We go through a lot of hurricanes, and I did miss the big one back in 1992 was Hurricane Andrew, but that leveled the area that I had known, the territory, greater territory that I had known all my life so significantly that trees were just missing. And it's funny, it comes to your awareness that we subconsciously, maybe also consciously, when you are moving around wherever you live, so much of your bearings, or your orientation of moving through are based on tree canopies. You really notice when a whole tree is not there anymore. I'm sure if you're on this channel, you know it. You can just feel it. It's like, wait, there's a huge void. What happened? It's also an energetic void, But anyway, so many trees were gone, bent over, missing. And it was really weird to try to get, bearing of where you were. But my point of bringing about the hurricanes and a devastating one is this. Our human nature is to help each other. It is to offer a helping hand, even if you're feuding with that neighbor, can't stand their guts if you're in that vibration, or vice versa. You will help each other if it's like, oh my gosh, I need a cup of water. Okay, that is human nature. So, of course, religions, politics, all of that is set up to be divisive. Not, the ones going in it with good intent, God bless them, they're not that way. But the controlling ones, the ones that have, quote unquote, obtained the power, are, using it to dominate and oppress. And so they will say, oh, these two countries are warring. No, they're not. You got people right on the border, exchanging goods and services and are friends, So again, what you're seeing with your physical eyes, question what's going on in the news. Because again, CGI Can someone could come in on this video and take something out or put something in it that I didn't do? You know, technologies is such that we got to start really questioning what's real and authentic and what is being manipulated. Okay. Let's see. I think that's all I was going to say about that. But it is a beautiful time for us to come together. And if you start having experiences, I'll go there unless somebody has any other comment. I don't think so. So I'll take on a new topic if nobody else wants to bring anything up. ET experiences. I am going to bring that up because why? It's actually coming onto our little screen with our physical eyes, right? In the past months, sorry, I want to adjust my little stars to be a little more festive. Feeling what's come up in recent times now, mainstream media, the whole question of, are they drones or are they ET craft, right? The answer is there's both. There's anything and everything up there. Also, when I hear the term meteor or comet, to me, instantly I say ET craft. You know, the Moa that came on several years ago, it was like a big rock, you know, going through space. It's like, and the funny thing is, it's like, oh, hey, you know, from mainstream, it's like, how'd that get there? You know, like the NASA, I don't want to, you know, give them credit, but you know, they'll say, oh, we just saw that. Well, yeah, don't you have like the most powerful telescopes known to everything? And you didn't know this thing was just going to come out of where? Nowhere, you know? That's how you know this is kind of a craft. You know, if you've watched my channel at all, you know my views on all this. But, you know, craft, yeah, they're on a different frequency sitting there. They can cloak, they can modulate their frequency, pop out of seeming nowhere. Again, because our eyes are not yet, you know, ascended and evolved enough where we can see a greater spectrum. Going back to my initial rainbow conversation, what do? It's defined by 7 colors. Are you kidding? Or frequencies? There's so many nuances, you know, within that thing, you know, so far beyond. There's probably thousands of colors, but we just don't have the equipment in our eyes yet to see it. I think there's like 3 parts, the rods and cones and whatever in our eyes right now. Supposedly, as a part of the collective ascension, we're going to get even more parts and pieces or whatever developed where we can see colors you can't even describe. Things that is said that, you know, with the near-death experiences or NDEs, when people are in the hospital almost dying, they see themselves, you know, from floating from above. They're like, what the heck's going on? And they get some interesting information, see the other side a little bit, and then usually get thrown back in like a fish back in water. Nope, we are not ready. You still have more work to do. Bam, you're slamming back in your body, right? But they talk about there being a whole scene where you can't even describe the essences of these colors to anybody, right? So we're going to be here now, starting to experience things like that, the heaven here on earth now, as we start to ascend from that carbon-based form, life form, to a crystalline light body, right? And again, people are starting to feel those effects because the body's feeling a little wonky. For me, like weekly almost. Foods I used to eat, it's like, oh, can't eat that anymore because then the system feels bad. So instead of popping a pill and trying to force myself to eat it, you just go accept it. Say, okay, my body, my biofield, everything, cellular level is not accepting that anymore. Well, why? Well, a big part of it is all the chemicals being put into the, you know, our day-to-day by, yeah, evil intending beings. They're not even really people. You know, they're putting the chemicals in the food. I bring this up a lot. The first moment I saw this, it was about 10 years ago. Somebody brought this to my awareness. And I don't want to give a brand, but I'll put Cheerios, okay? If you read the label, there was an ingredient in there. I don't know if they've wiped it or renamed it so people aren't onto it. But for, you know, for a long time, they have it hidden in plain sight. What's in there? Well, the ingredient I take offense to is TSP, trisodium phosphate. Okay. Why? Because if you go to your little local builder construction, you know, supply house, you look on the shelf and you see TSP, it's an industrial cleaner. We once used that on a gun range floor to clean it back in my day, okay, of doing things. So I saw that and I'm like, excuse me, what the heck is that doing in the box of Cheerios that we give our little babies and kids and adults to eat? What do? They tout it for adults. Oh, good for heart health. Oh, BS. No way. So I saw this because a contractor had noticed it and he had done a YouTube thing, you know, way back over 10 years ago. And I'm like, damn it if he isn't right, because I had worked in that field for a while, and I'm like, oh my gosh, and then it brought it to my attention. So God bless him. Thank God for that guy. And he said, what are you giving to my babies? And he even wrote the company, the manufacturer, and said, hey, what the heck? You're poisoning our kids and us. What are you doing? Do you know what his response at the time was? And I believe it was authentic. Anyone else can look into it or write the company. The little, standard line, coming back from the company was, oh, don't worry. Yeah, it's in there, but it's a trace amount, and your body's cells encapsulate it so it can't distribute into your body. Do you like that explanation? F that. No, it's a toxin going into your body and of your little kids. So ever since I saw that, I boycotted that product. But it pops up in other ones too. And it's to the point where it's like, gosh darn it, they put it in everything. You already know they're putting pure white refined sugar in everything, if that's even what it really is, to the point where you look at the label and it's even in your mustard. What the heck? We don't need it in there. So, it's like what they say, right? These days, if you're going to one of those box grocery stores, shop the perimeter aisle, forget the rest on the inside. That's what the Ascension's calling us to do. And more they're, putting chemicals in, even to the wax that they put on apples or whatever, how they clean it. So listen to your body. Now what people, I don't want to get into a doomsday scenario, because of course the water's being tainted, as is the air. So what can we do? We're not victims here, even with all that going on. You could say, well, I don't run the water treatment facility, so I'm not the one that can stop putting fluoride or whatever in our water, or I'm not the one, I don't have a jet plane or something that can shoot out all these chemtrailers out of the sky. It's not about that. It's about getting into our real power, remembering we are no victim here. We are infinite master creators, powerful creators, exactly as you are right now. There's no spiritual development that has to happen. Thank God there are spiritual development and tools out there, and great seers and people who do guidance sessions. I do, plenty of others do. But we all need that for encouragement and to understand what we're in and to help each other through these times. But I want to say back to Sharon, aka Lake Superior Skywatcher, the comment about transformation brings up alchemy. Okay. We come here as master creators. We're already master alchemists without even realizing it. Now's the time to realize it, remember it, and jump into that role. So what is the most easy way to do that? Blessing your food, blessing your water. Okay. When I cook things, here's the whole question too about meat versus vegetables, whatever. Ascension, going from the carbon form to, a light body, it burns up a lot of energy. Okay. Or not burns up, but it demands a lot of energy. So there may be times that people might need a little protein in the form of meat. Don't go after that person. Don't come for them. The body, you got to listen to it. What does it want? It might want a meat, once a week or something because of this process. Or it might say, oh no, don't put that in my body. I don't want it anymore. I'm not at that frequency. But what you can do, either or, whatever wherever you are in that spectrum, is bless your food, alchemize it to match your own frequency wherever you're at, and then ask for both to raise up. And then whatever was done with the animal, ethical or not, you are neutralizing that situation. You are sending love to that situation, to the animal, to the person who maybe felt they had no other recourse but to do the job they're doing that wasn't treating the animal well. You're raising them up. You're raising anybody who has touched or interfaced with that animal or whatever from the very beginning to where it is sitting in your kitchen. Okay. Bless it all. Bless everybody. Bless the delivery system, the person driving the truck. Bless everybody. Raise it all up. For an example, I have stepped away from meat quite a bit. I'll only have it when my body says I need a little bit of that. And you just totally listen to what your body's telling you. And but there was a time where I was making some meat. And so for an example, if I have a skillet on the range and I'm stirring it, say ground beef, okay, I take for blessing things, it's the right hand. For you, again, go with your intuition. It might be your left. Doesn't have to be the dominant hand, just whatever you feel, okay? So I'll just pass my hand in a circle and go beloved, blessed, and protected. And then I'll do over like my solar plexus, the abdomen, love, blessed, and protected. And then I do like a little back and forth energetically and just say, our frequencies matched, we are loved, blessed, and protected, and we elevate it, and I give thanks all around for everyone involved, with this. Love, blessed, and protected all. Oops, sorry about that. So that's a very easy way to alchemize, and not only with food, but obviously with water. And I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with that Dr. Edmodo experiments, or looking at the structure of water under a fancy telescope, microscope. I can't remember the name of it. Not an electron, whatever microscope. But here's an example. So yeah, ideally this would be in glass and not plastic, but it is what it is. You can alchemize it. So taking the water, if I talk very lovingly to it, like, oh, thank you so much. I love you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for giving me sustenance that I need. Oh, just love you so much. You're the best. Take a little drop of that, put it under that microscope, and it was the most beautiful crystal patterns, like a perfect snowflake, right? Now, if I took the same water, I don't want to do it. I'm going to put it away from me, but here's pretend water. Say, oh, you jerk. You're the worst. Oh, I hate you. Take the drop of that, put it under that same microscope, and it looked deteriorated and deformed. Okay, so as a part of that too is a lesson through those experiments. What do we know about our physicality for right now? It's going to be potato on the percentages. How can we truly define what it is? I'm not going to do that. But what do they say? Anywhere from 70 to 90% of us is water based, or liquid. All right. So you're in a situation, living situation, say, and you're not happy. You have somebody else berating you, talking mean to you, can be a partner, a parent, whatever. Over time, what is that doing to you on a cellular level, right? If you just take it. So it's important to come into the awareness. You don't have to take it. You're not a victim. You are the master creator. So even if somebody is saying that to you, there's so many spiritual tools with envisioning, visualizing, and doing other things where you can even just, wave your hand over and just imagine a force field around you that only love can come and go. Only loving words can come and go. That no foul or mean or low vibrational actions or words can do harm to you. And you can even just imagine yourself larger than life, huge, and looking down at this person like a squeaking little mouse in the corner, like anything they say means nothing, doesn't even come into your consciousness. There's a lot of things that we can do, for that. Anyway, wow, I just went a whole nother topic I didn't count on. But that's so important. That's why it's coming up. It's so important to remember we can bless our food. You can walk outside and bless your whole environment. Bless the air. You start to see a quote unquote chemtrail, which, by the way, yes, some are filled with chemicals, but others are camouflage trails, which have nothing harmful in them. They're just like drawn across the sky as a red herring to get your, visual field to look over here. Meanwhile, there's a huge ass cloak and craft over here, just kind of get your attention away from it. If there is chemical or you don't want to see it and you just want your beautiful sky, like a canvas, you just want to see a beautiful sky. You don't want to see above me, like a streak going across it, a line. Just when you go out your door where you're living, just say, hey, not my reality. If you start to see the first one coming, just say, not my reality. And then pretty soon it's just gone. That's how powerful we are. And there's no major hocus pocus. Let me bring out a wand and a staff. You can if you want. It's kind of fun, but you don't need to. It's just a thought, just once you can do this, know it from your heart. And I'm just bringing this up. Yeah, I can do a lot of this. I've been practicing a lot of it, like the blessing of the food and raising the frequency. I've been doing for over 6 years once I learned about it. And guess what? When you match the two frequencies, you have less heartburn, no matter what you eat. Even if you know you shouldn't, it's going to trigger something. If you bless and raise and match the frequencies of the two, the food and you, and you bring it together, then you're not going to have this quote unquote dis-ease or disruption in your system. I'm not saying then cram yourself with food you shouldn't eat and try to alchemize all over the place. No, use your common sense on that too. But we are that powerful. Yes, we are. In the day to day, the more you practice this, the more you'll see it. And then it just becomes second nature. And then you're like, what? Doesn't everyone do this? So the hardest part of all of this, of alchemizing, is just remembering to do it. Okay. Let me just check something here real quick. Okay. Yeah. So you can do that alchemy with going outside and, with the sky, with your food, your water. And then just in general, when you go to sleep, raising the frequency of your whole living environment. You can just close your eyes and kind of wave your hand around if you want, imagining yourself, visualizing yourself walking through each room, maybe of the house, and you just say love, blessed, and protected or whatever before you sleep. You can go like what I like to do is just say and love, blessed, and protected above and below, especially if you have a house that's not on slab on the ground, but it's elevated. But I go above and below and all around. And then I'd make in my mind, and I kind of use my hands too. And then I do like as if there's a big invisible dome around the whole house and property and all of life within it, that everything is raised, love, blessed, and protected, and that only love can flow in and out of that area. And that's just another little technique that can help on the day-to-day, and another form of alchemy, raising the vibration of where you're at. And when I do that and I think of the dome, I think of like a clear dome where it can be golden. And look, you're a master creator. Make it whatever color you want. Purple, green, whatever works for you, pink. And that's all of the creation part. Throw in extra little things if you want fairies floating around or little sparkles, bringing that in. You have the creation. You have the power of the imagination, the creation within you. And it's a beautiful thing. So anyway, when I think of the dome, sometimes I think of a clear one, and I can't not think about the 1970s. I think it was 71 or 72 cartoon Aquaman series. At the very end, they show like the little Atlantis, they're all under that dome. If you know what I'm talking about. Okay, something just fell here. All right. I think that's gonna, what time are we at? Yeah, I think I'm going to wind it up for now. But more back to the celebration part of what I'm doing here. Pardon me, I'm just like reaching and trying to grab stuff off camera. Just for fun to sign off, because I did say I want it to be more about fun. Celebrating the 5 years of this channel. So a while back, I forget where I got these, but I got some masks, not of the dreaded type that were pushed on us like down our throats the last several years. Forget about that. These are fun. So I just want to end and sign off on, unless again, anybody has anything else to say. And thank you for your kindnesses. If you did join in, I really appreciate it. And do appreciate your presence hopping in and out of this channel over the years. And or if you're just new, if you're going to embark on, just go down the list of the videos. And I would just say maybe start with the very first one if you're new, just to see what this is all about. And of course, I've had quite a journey from then until now of morphing and changing and transforming. But just go with your intuition and hop in, with whatever feels right to you. Or look at the covers and just go, oh, that's interesting, and just pop in and out. So to sign off, I will just show some masks that I have that are just kind of fun, like in the spirit of celebrating like a masked ball kind of thing. So also this is going to illustrate, how many faces of us, physical faces there are of us on the earth. It's just showing how much the creativity and expression is found in all of our cultures. And we need to embrace all the colors of the rainbow, like we started off, right? And I think most of us do, all the different cultures. And, I was just at a Greek festival, and the dances and the folk costumes. And it's just, we're here to experience some really beautiful things. So anyway, let me, thank you, Sharon, for your congrats. She says, congrats on my first live. I truly appreciate it. There is a difference. I've gone on little podcasts here and there, and I feel fine talking to the person because I'm not the one leading the discussion. So when I hopped on for this one live, I'm like, oh, things kind of changed a little bit. I felt my heart picking up a bit, but I'm like, all right, no, just come on. Just come on. You are all friends. If you found this, you consider yourself a family friend. Okay. So here, I'm going to just pull my hair back for a second, just for something a little fun. We're going to go like around the world real quick. And just these I find to be so much fun. Oh, and these are great when you put one on and then you take a Polaroid, especially like in black and white, and it looks real. So you're going to see what I mean. Okay. I'm not going to tie it, but like here, oops, sorry about that. So here instantly I'm going around the world. I'm in Japan, right? So it's just kind of fun. And then this is French. So like a French, I forget the name, not a harlequin, but that kind of a thing, like a clown. And so I just love this because it's like we can be whatever we want at any time. We can dial in and connect with any kind of energies that we want, right? And here's another one. you want to get in touch with your Native American roots. And really, I think, if you're like me, a lot of these different cultures and things, they resonate. I think there is a part of all of it, within each of us, right? We are, like I say, went to a very profound lecture by Neil Donald Walsh. She said, there's one of us in the room. There is just one energy. And actually I had it here somewhere. Maybe I have it. I got a lot of props around here, so I wasn't sure where we were going to go with this whole show. But like like I say, like the sparklers, if you look at source, God energy is that source light, the main part of that sparkler. I'm not going to light it here because I don't know if things will catch on fire, so I'm not going to do that. But, just, we don't need a lot of them, just one sparkler. I want to go this way. There's that one sparkler. We light it. Here's source. Then we got all the little sparks of light, right? No single spark wasn't just off there on its own. It's still connected and tied with source. That energetic trajectory of jumping off is still very much resonant, in the source as well. But anyway, back to it. So just for fun, if anyone wants to drop off, it's fine. But I'm just going to continue to show the masks that I have just for fun. And again, if you get your hands on any of these, it just, turns out to be fun. And if you take a Polaroid, again, it starts to look very real. And this is just like a heavier paper with two little strings. So if you're the creative type and want to play with this, I invite you, like this is the back side of it, okay? You can even just make your own images and print them out and make your own masks. All you need to do is, cut two little holes and put the two strings and just really have fun with it, right? I'm having fun with it because I can. It's 5 years of this channel. I can't believe it. All right. Anyway, now we can do some men. Doesn't have to just be male. You can, be the opposite. So here's a bagpiper from Scotland. So shout out to anybody I'm holding up. Shout out to your country, where you're at right now. France, Scotland. Here we're going to dip into China, Mandarin. So I don't know. I just love these. Because you can be who you want, be creative, and then you're back to you, right? This is somebody in Spain. Love I love the eyebrows on this one, right? And then we will do, I guess, a courtier. I guess back to France. Oh, yeah, I'll hold it out for this one. This one gets pretty trippy. Talking about ETs and aliens, you start to question some of the lineages of these things. We're now in England. I don't know what you see, but I see maybe something not from quote unquote Earth. Okay. All right. Then we got like a judge. Yeah, I'm not so fond of that one. Oh, okay. Not far behind the other person from England. Here we go. Supposedly from England. That one gets weird, right? Henry VIII. And I'll do one more. And this is a flapper girl from the 20s. So anyway, just doing that in fun. Again, I appreciate you all so much. And I wish you all the best. And again, anybody that has a channel, I will, take one of my favorites or pop something into the description area below. If you don't have a channel, may this be your inspiration to maybe load something up just for fun. If you're hesitant to do it, maybe just start with the shorts. And if you don't know what the heck you would possibly post, just take a little video of your surrounds of the sky or nature and just put a little shorts, or something. Just for fun, because the more of us that share, our own little worlds, the more we can also kind of connect and unite in spirit. And but if not, it's okay, obviously. All right. Well, I guess, guys, anybody else have anything to comment or sign off with? If not, I sure do appreciate you. And as I always sign off with, tremendous peace and love to you. Thanks. Until next time. Bye.